It's live.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري وأشرك في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Inshallah, without any further delay, we have to straight start reading the verse and commenting on it. Somebody please just read the Arabic. Would you like to read the Arabic? You look like a native Arabic speaker.
Yeah.
Are you?
No, not at all.
No. Anybody?
You're
Okay.
gonna come back to me.
Are we
You, so, okay, there is brothers. Can you, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
وإذا مس الإنسان الضر دعانا لجنته
Yeah.
إذا مس الإنسان الضر دعانا
لجانبه.
أو
لجنبه. Sorry.
لجنبه أو قاعدا أو قائما فلما كشفنا عنه ضره مر كأن لم يدعنا إلى ضر مسه كذلك زين للمسرفين ما كانوا يعملون.
So somebody, English translation slowly as possible so that we will follow the translation.
When affliction befalls man, he cries out unto us, whether he be lying on his side, or sitting, or standing. But as soon as we have freed him of his affliction, he goes on as though he had never invoked us to save him from the affliction that befell him. Thus do their own doings seem goodly unto those who waste their own selves.
So straight into the subject. What do we understand from this verse? From every aspect, whatever comes to your mind, try to really engage yourself with the verse and try to see it in your own practical terms. Do I do this like that? For example, ask, what is he talking? What is the verse talking about? And what is the significance of it? So, as far as the definition of the Quran is concerned, how can we really understand the Quran by studying this verse particularly? What is, how I should treat the verse or I should treat the Quran? Whatever comes to your mind, whatever excites you.
When someone is afflicted in a bad situation, they cry out for help, and once they receive the help and they're out of their affliction,
Who is that someone? I'm trying to help you, not interrupt you. Do you know
a
this
believer, maybe a
person?
disbeliever?
Sorry?
I don't know, a person, a human, man,
Men or women?
mankind.
Yes. Don't you think you are one of them?
Yes.
What? Speak on your behalf.
Um,
Don't you?
When I have been in a bad situation, I guess there's a degree of desperation that seeks for God just because it might be an easier way out. But once you're out of that situation, it's as if you didn't owe any thanks
So
for that.
what do you think God is telling me this
We're
for?
unappreciative.
Sorry?
We're unappreciative by nature. We don't understand how much we've been given.
I mean, the content of this particular verse is really. Have you been with us last week?
No.
So, I think we should try to understand the verse as far as our main subject is concerned. This is the continuation of last week's discussion. Maybe this is the third week actually. Yeah. So, how do you see that? How do you see that this verse involves us into the relationship with my Creator, Lord? Why is he telling me this? This is my situation. I would say none of your business to the speaker in the verse, but I'm sorry for being rude, but None of your business. Whatever I do, I do. Why do you speak to me in this way? Do you see what I mean? So argue with the verse, so that the verse will be your own guide if you really follow yourself. Don't alienate the verse or the Quran to your own reality. That is the source of problem. We have many problems with dealing with the Quran. For example, reading the Quran for others, reading the Quran not related to my case, and also not reading the Quran as an intimate speech of my Creator to me. He is speaking to me like a mother is advising her child. So that engagement is necessary. Otherwise, Quran becomes a source of information, source of knowledge. So we drive some rules out of the Quran and implement rules on others. We live in ourselves in castles or palaces and say that you have to do this because verse says that. So try to read the Quran for ourselves. That's what we are trying to do, brother. I'm not blaming you. No. Just be patient to get used to our style. No, I appreciate your bravery, courage. You wanted to say something. You know what we are doing. Okay.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Yeah.
When we are enjoying life without problems, without illnesses, without any affliction, we tend to separate ourselves from Allah. And when we have pain, when we're sick, when we have problems, we call Allah and we ask for Allah's relief.
Okay. Why do you think this is the case? Apply it to yourself. Why do we do that?
Because I'm ungrateful, because I get comfortable, and I forget that when I'm well, it's not because of myself. It's because Allah is giving me health, is giving me a job, is giving me food, is giving me clothes.
Because of the lack of time, I'm sorry, I don't want to be rude, but we are going to pray soon, and I want to finish one verse at least before we start praying the Maghrib prayer. How do you know that all the things Allah is, you say, Allah is giving me the health, the food, and all the opportunities that we enjoy our life? How do you know this?
Because Allah is the creator, I am the creation.
Okay, we are establishing the methodology. That's why I am emphasizing on it. You said Allah is the creator. How do you know? How did you come to this conclusion? You must have some evidence. You must have gone through certain steps, and that was your conclusion. Okay? But we will emphasize definitely however we reached that conclusion and employ these stages into our language. Otherwise, people will think that we are just throwing. We took it for granted that God is the creator of everything, that's it. No, the Muslims should be modest, not arrogant. I'm not saying you are arrogant. No. In our language also, I experienced that. That's my conclusion. I understood that it is no way, there is no way for me to get these blessings only from the creator of the universe. So we have to learn this language. I will insist on it until, well, I don't know, maybe a decade will pass. I will still say, don't speak on behalf of God. Speak on behalf of you, because it is misleading, it is misrepresenting the Muslim identity. They think that we are really blindly following the Quran. I know you are not, but it is not in our language. Make it now. Either yours. I understood, I studied, I concentrated on the things, what is happening to me. I conclude that these things cannot happen by themselves. So In order for one thing to come into existence, the whole universe is needed. I understand this. I cannot explain the events happening in this world in another way. That is my personal conclusion. Keep using this language that belief is my own conclusion, not borrowed. Whether you come from a Muslim background or non-Muslim background, doesn't matter. We are human beings when every human being is equal. So we have to use the same language. And always the language we use must make sense without any prejudice included in it. That's why we have to train ourselves. I think especially the community of the believers in general is suffering from this. The others who are suspicious, who say they are agnostic, but not necessarily a philosophical term. The agnosticism is not a philosophical term here. Most of the people, even they may not know the word at all. They say, I don't know, everybody says something. I go to the mosque, they say something. I go to the church, they say another thing. Everybody speaks from his own angle, and everybody speaks with his own or her own conclusions. And I don't know how they reached that conclusion. I haven't reached that conclusion, and I am not one of them. And stay apart. And that's very dangerous. I call it, we as believers must learn this language. The language of the conviction, personal conviction, not language of imitation, and not especially language of the tradition, borrowing the language from our tradition. Never we should use this language. Qur'an speaks. We studied on many occasions this methodology of understanding or approaching the Qur'an or interpreting the Qur'an, benefiting from the Qur'an. We have to understand that God speaks in order to guide us, gives the clue, says what we don't know. It means from the word of unseen, through the absolute word. But we have to take this word and question it, approve it, confirm with our own capacity, with our own evidence. We have to confirm it. So while I am talking on behalf of the Qur'an, I have to talk with a confirmative language. Never imitative language saying that God says this, it must be so. It is very arrogant. You have to say, I read this from the guidance, the book of guidance, and I try to understand what it means and investigated it, and at the end I confirmed it or whatever. I didn't confirm, I confirmed. As a believer, you say, I confirmed it because of this reason, and this way of confirmation must be reflected in your language. So whenever you speak with wisdom, not with pre-accepted narrations. Speak with wisdom, especially living in New York. We should learn how to speak to non-believers. Not necessarily among ourselves, you have to pray, brother, because there is a verse in the Quran. That's it. That's your brotherly language, and we don't need it. We keep hearing this for zillions of times. You have to give me data. You have to give me evidence in order to help me confirm my stand. So I will say, yeah, that's why I pray. The brother said he prays because of this and this. I say, yeah, it makes sense. I didn't see the prayer from this perspective. It is constructive. It is an addition to your belief. It helps you confirm your belief even further. Otherwise, we just repeat ourselves. How many times, I can ask you, how many times you heard that, in Islam we pray? Zillions. And that's why those people who are investigating, who have not decided yet, they listen to come here and listen to Muslims speaking. They say, okay, they have their own agenda. Salam alaikum, I'm going. That's their agenda. They keep repeating for themselves. So there are many sociological reasons behind it, and mainly those people who are interested in this subject. This comes from inferiority complex. Say, I want to make myself look stronger, stable, so I am a Muslim, I pray. And the other person looks at you and says, these people are just arrogant people. They repeat themselves. Bye-bye. I have nothing to do with you. You are living in New York. Never forget that. You are 100 people here, millions out there. They are coming here and looking, what are these people doing at ICNYU, the most open place for Muslims. Anybody can come here, No one feels judged. It's perfect. They come here and look at you and overhear you speaking. We have to be careful. We have to be careful about our language. Whatever we say, any time a person who is investigating is listening out. Watch out for your language. Never repeat your prejudgments. Never. That's the way of understanding. I think we don't have much time. Oh, go, use it now. You are very anxious about it, especially you. So be calm, man. Excuse me. Be calm down. Yeah. Praying in time is sunnah. Studying the Qur'an from belief perspective is fard ayn. We should never confuse that. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. Inshallah, we will carry on after the prayer. Inshallah. I will tell you why I'm a little bit excited today. I was here last night, that's why. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. There is a good reason. Is it working okay? So, are we ready?
Is that your bag? Oh yeah, that's mine. Arslan's. Arslan. I'll find him. I know who he is. All right. Let me find him. Yeah, you can start, but I'm looking for. Yeah, it's already recording. It's already live.
Okay.
Who's I don't see him.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, inshallah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه أجمعين. Inshallah, we will start the second section. Please come closer to this way, so if there is somebody else who's coming later on, latecomers may perform their prayers there. And also, sisters also are required to come this way, so the back alley-like place will be open for those who come late. They feel that they are disturbing the discussion. They don't want to and stay there and then go and complain. They don't tell you anything, but they go. Yeah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now, who had this experience as it is described in the verse? When he was ill and everything, or in a desperate situation, under stress, whatever, and then he was asking, please pray for me, I need this and that, etc. And everything is fine, and forget about it. Who experienced that? Oh no, many hands, no, except me, everybody. MashaAllah. Who would like to share it? Okay.
I think it's just when you're either sick or going through something and you feel deprived. So that deprivation kind of makes you turn to Allah, because it's like you kind of contemplate where that hardship came from, right? But when you're in a state of like comfort and ease, you still should be thinking about where that state came from, but you kind of are in a state where you're not deprived of anything, so you kind of lose sight of what you've been given.
Why do you think, I think that's a general situation for almost everybody. Do you want to add something or share your experience?
No, I kind of wanted to share my experience.
You want to share your experience?
Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Oh, okay.
But if you, this one also, I think they say if you keep up, helps.
I mean, I remember when I was really sick, I actually got bronchitis,
Okay.
and it was just such a difficult situation. But it was really at that point in time where I felt so close to God, you know. I was just like, God, please, every day, you know, because lack of sleep. And I mean, at that point in time, I kind of realized, like, you know, this is the whole point. This is the whole reason why I'm sick, you know. It kind of made me feel better about being sick, but it's so true. You run back to Him. And I think the last verse is so important. It says, you know, thus to their own doings seem goodly, meaning like you kind of attribute, let's say, health to yourself, you know, to you eating healthy and making sure, you know, you get the right exercise and food, and it just says that you're wasting yourself, you know, you're wasting your human qualities, you're wasting who you are, the capabilities that you have, and that's it speaks to me very clearly, you know.
Do we see that? I think there are many people who would like to share the same thing. I can also share my experience. But do you think that this is something to do with definition of normal? Normal? My health is normal. The sun rises in the morning is normal. And you know, you hear, you speak is normal. But when something happens weird and unexpected, it is abnormal. So when something happens to us abnormal, we turn to investigating the source of this abnormality. But we don't investigate the source of the normality. Why do you think? One, I can give you a clue. When we read the verses, watch out how the verses conclude the topic they study in the Quran, or what is the topic under discussion. There are one verse, two verses maybe, continue studying a topic. At the end, like we have studied last week, Inna lillahi qalu inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun, and all the solution is there. Now here, the وكذلك زين للمسرفين ما كانوا يعملون. It is something to do with the waste of their own selves. Why do we waste our own selves when we say, you know, I'm healthy and all right, I forget about it. It is normal. When something happens abnormal, I start screaming and I realize that I cannot overcome the abnormality. So I look for a refuge. What can I do? I cannot solve this problem because there is a problem. Why? Excuse me, I shouldn't ask the question why now. But in order to overcome this problem, I acknowledge my poverty, I acknowledge my weakness, neediness. It means my reality. So, which is better? To acknowledge my reality or to be neglectful of my reality? So, all the things that we talk in our daily life and attribute it to normality is a problem, is the source of problem. That the earth revolves is normal. It means taken for granted. We never question. Where is it coming from? Okay. Why God says here, وكذلك زين للمسرفين ما كانوا يعملون. Why مسرفون, but in this case مسرفين, why the people of waste? What are we wasting? Who will say? What are we wasting here? When you read the verse simply, he said, of course in Islam, to be wasteful is rejected. That's it. We shouldn't be wasteful. What are we wasting within the context of this verse? What are we wasting? Yeah, somebody need here.
I would say I would be wasting my time, because anything that I'm not doing that isn't getting me closer to God, in the end, is something that is wasting my time.
How would you like to? Lack of the time, how would you like to stop wasting your time, and how are you expected to get closer to God? You don't getting on an elevator, or how? How are you going to get closer
you just
to God?
continue remembering God.
Sorry?
You continue remembering
How
God.
do you remember God?
Well, I would just think of all the blessings that I have,
What?
and then try to count all the blessings that I have, and then try to be grateful as most as
So
possible.
you have something, then you will be grateful for it?
Tons.
Where did you get them? Whatever they are.
The things that I have
Yeah.
from God. Well, I mean,
How
I
do
would
you
say,
know?
I would say that I
Same
could,
problem. No, speak from your perspective. Change your language. For example, whatever is given to me, I cannot make it, I cannot attribute it to anything else. They are all given to me. And I take them as normal, don't think about them. So, all the opportunities are given to me in order to know how I am treated in my existence in this world. I ignore them and waste all my opportunities. That's why I'm wasteful. Because all the given things, whatever we need, taken for granted. I don't take any lesson from them. I waste my time, I waste my opportunities in order to fulfill the purpose of my existence in this world. Purpose of my existence in this world is the key. Not, I have some money here, I don't have any. And, I dropped some of them, I wasted them. No, it has nothing to do with your purpose of existence. You are not here to be rich. You are not here to be, I would call it in inverted commas knowledgeable. It means really experienced or expert on a topic, on a subject. You are here to know who you are. We are here to know who we are, what I am. So that's the purpose of my existence. This purpose brings me closer, draws me closer to my Creator, to the Creator of the sources or resources I have been given. But with one condition, I have to think about them. Not only I will think and scream when I lose them, when I have them. Because if normally, there's a brother here makes the exception in the wheelchair, that's the exception. Normally, we have healthy life 99% of our whole life. 1% we may be put into trouble. So when 1% it happens, we remember that I am made, I am needy, I am weak. I cannot make anything. I cannot guarantee anything. Even the insurance company cannot keep me from falling into illness or sick. Now, so you come to realize your reality when you are taken. That's 1%. It's good, of course, not bad. How about 99% of your life? What's happening to you? Illness is given to you, and God, only God, the one who creates this illness, can take it away from you, remove this illness from you. You remember. How about your health? Who gave it to you? That's what Qur'an says. You are wasting 99% of your life. That's what we waste our life. Although I may seem to be very busy, very occupied, very punctual in my programs and schedules, but in reality, as far as fulfilling my purpose in existence is concerned, we are wasting. That's how we should read the Quran. The Quran is my creator, keeps talking to me to remind me what my reality is, to help me, to wake me up. It's a wake call? Wake up call, thank you. It's a wake up call. But we have to really, really be comfortable with the Quran. Be comfortable. Comfortable means this. My Lord is speaking to me. He knows me. He's trying to help me. He's trying to guide me to the right way of living. Not the right way of living. I don't mean only halal and haram. Zabiha, brother. No, I don't mean that. I mean making your own life legitimate for you to live. It is worth it. It is worth it. Believe me, I feel from my own experience, we are holding the Quran under our arms as high as possible, the Mus'haf, the book, but we are not really much benefiting from it. The problem is, we don't think that the Quran is teaching me how to really appreciate my life. We think that the Quran is the book of codification. Yes, there are some codes, there are some rules, but those rules only make a very fraction of the Quran. Here is the rule. Here. When you are needy, when you are under stress, when something happens to you that you cannot really overcome yourself, you recognize God. It's all right. It's not bad to recognize God, to remember God, that He is the one who creates this, and I have to really turn to Him and ask His help. That's correct. It's quite normal. That's how we are expected to do. But the Quran says, how about when it is removed away from you? Most of the case in your life, you are healthy. Most of the time you find something to eat. Only, I don't know, is there anybody who couldn't find anything to eat in your life? I am 64 years old. I have been living in this world for 64 years. I've never been in this situation. always I found something to eat. Really. I think most of us do have this opportunity. Well, are we waiting for one day that there is no food, there is no opportunity, I am dying of hunger, starving, so that I say, please God, sell me hanna manna, you know the words, of course, you know, something ready from heavens, so I will feed myself. But it didn't happen to me. So I never remembered God then, because I didn't turn to God, because I failed. I don't need God. I have my food, my refrigerator is full. Whose refrigerator is half full? I don't think so. Yeah? Shall I ask Ali? How is your refrigerator? There is no room. There's no room. Full. Something, isn't that reality in general here? Am I really exaggerating? And if one day, let's say, refrigerator, there's no refrigerator, empty, no refrigerator. And them say, please, God, help me. Or please ask other brothers and sisters to help me. So, for the sake of God, we remember this, you know. Homeless, help homeless, God bless you. How about when you have home? Where is God? Have you seen anybody? I have a house. God blessed me. Have you seen any? Whatever you call them, signpost? Yeah. No, that's why we are wasteful. That's why the Quran says, my Creator says, you are wasting your time. Watch out. Any more comment on this, or there are some more verses that I want to finish today, this discussion. First this brother, and then...
This verse sort of points out to me sort of intricacy of man's nature.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like if someone throws something at me, automatically I put my hands up to block it. If something like a dog comes to attack me, I try to kick it away. If I'm in a situation where it's like fight or flight, my instincts kick in automatically. And if I'm in a situation that my health is failing, or for example, I had a knee injury 2 years ago. I was like, oh God, no, right? So it's like in a time of dire need, automatically, instinctually, every person, speaking from personal experience and also speaking with other people, automatically we rely on God. It's like ingrained into us. Yeah. Automatically we use him as a shield or a bandage or something. Or we hope that it becomes that. Mm-hmm. So it sort of makes me believe that this is how God programmed man. Like, no matter what, your instincts always tell you how to survive. How to survive, you rely on God. And whatever name you call him or whatever idea you have about him, but to rely on a power that's greater than yourself. That's what I got from this verse.
Thank you. Yes, brother.
I had a question. How do you truly get to be thankful? Because there's always something that we forget that we have. Like, there's always something that I forget that I have, and it isn't until it's taken away that I realize that I have it. You know? So how do I truly be grateful for all those things and not fall into this category?
I think this is the only way to come to Wednesday halakas. We keep reminding us, you know, you have to make you are the only one. You are reading the minds of everybody here, including me. We have to be honest. We keep forgetting. Well, we may remember some rituals, but really, rituals are taken for granted for Muslims. I'm not saying they are not significant. No. There is no need to talk about it. You know, these people. If you force them not to pray, they will still pray. There is no need to talk about it. Apart from this, we are not with God. Usually, that is every one of us. The cure for it, to me, let's stop speaking the known matters in religion and start speaking the neglected aspect of the religion. What do I mean by it? Known things. Every Ramadan, I'm fed up with it. Really, every Ramadan we talk about which day is the Ramadan, what day are you going to start fasting? But that's enough, man. That's enough. Every Ramadan, since I was born, this is the discussion. This is the only matter that the Muslims are seriously involved in. But how about belief side of it? Just help me. How can I really, as the brother said, that's everybody's problem. But he just really spoke on behalf of everybody here. I don't think somebody will say, no, I'm exception. Everybody is struggling for it because we don't mention. We don't present the Qur'an as the book of belief. We don't draw the people's attention to the teachings of the Qur'an related to belief side of it, belief, iman in Arabic. And we are not educated in this way. So whoever really says, for example, encourages you or me, wake up for tahajjud at night. That's all right. That's a good point. But in order to wake up at night, I have to have a very strong tie with my Creator. Where is it? How can I get it? So that's why, as far as I'm concerned, we have to emphasize on the belief teachings of the Quran, which is full, everywhere. We have to study the verses of the Quran from belief perspective. So what is it teaching? That's why I keep asking this question. How do you relate yourself to this verse? How do you really communicate with this verse as far as your personal life is concerned? Have you ever thought that why this verse is ending with wasting yourself? Why? So ask people, what is waste? You know, if you throw the bread away or leftover food away, that's waste. Or buy something that you don't need, that's waste. Although it needs a lot of definitions, and strong definitions, what we really need. What we really need. So waste means, mostly talking about food. Maybe not 5 pairs of shoes in a year. 1, 2 are enough. Don't waste. Okay. But who says, for example, what did you think of the sunset today? What did you think of for example, fall is coming, the colors are changing, the world is changing. What is the message? Are we wasting the demonstration of whatever we see here, the Creator, demonstrating Himself, drawing our attention, saying that, look what I can do. Pay attention to it and come closer to me by seeing what I'm doing. Because you cannot explain these things otherwise. One way trip, if you like, to God. There's no other way. You go and say, God, that's what you are doing. I know what you are doing. I am aware of it. I am an observer of it. That's why remembrance of God is only possible. Remembrance of God is only possible by observing what He is presenting to you. Not repeating the same word over and over again. But as a result of observation, if you really like, for example, you are hungry, you are eating something, you say, oh, it's delicious. My God is really favoring me. and then eat something else, you say, oh, this is even better. Again, remember God. He is the Muhsin. He is the Kareem. Yeah, He is the Mu'ti. He is the Mun'im. He is the one who gives you all this benevolence with nothing in return. Just freely. So that is remembrance of God. Through experience, not in an imitative way. I think somebody's bad thing to make a comment.
Well, if it takes too much time, then we can move on. But I wanted to ask: did God deliberately create us to forget? I mean, does He want us to forget to remember, or do we forget because of our own actions and our own choice, freedom of will?
You know, when I met God, I forgot to ask this question. So, no, you have to look. Ahab, you are like Professor Nader. We are friends. You know, that's why I speak with you in a harsh language. Look, we should stop speaking from God's perspective, which is impossible. We're just cheating ourselves. So, ask yourself, why do you forget? That's what you are. That's how you and I am. We forget. But the possibility of forgetting is given to us as well as remembrance. So it is upon me. It is left to me whether to educate myself, to remember my source of existence, or to neglect it. What we try to do here, really to shift this approach. We should decide to remember by questioning how the things are arriving me, coming to me. I breathe air. Why don't we think that, which kind of relationship it is? Strange, isn't it? We are within atmosphere, and we breathe in, and after we breathe in, what happens? Billions of different kinds of chemical reactions are going on as a result of one breath. Why don't we prostrate? Who is making this? I breathe, it goes there, and the blood is clean, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, but who studies biology must tell us hours and hours what happens. You know, not only you, the trees breathe as well. They make photosynthesis. You know, read the formula of photosynthesis. It's more than 2 pages. Only the written formula, how it takes place. It's the principle, it's the rule. It's the way created. We don't prostrate before God when we see look at this demonstration, how amazing it is. Just God is really, really putting his finger into our eyes, saying that here I am. I said, that's normal. That's normal, isn't it? You know, if you are alive, you have to breathe. Yeah, the trees are, you know, when you are a child, when I was a child, I was told that trees produces carbon dioxide during the daytime. Dioxide. And during daytime. Not during night. And during night. So we shouldn't keep the plants in the room when we sleep. Yeah, okay. So how do they adjust this? You know, this is daytime, I shouldn't do that. Come on, it's harmful for human beings. Wood, man, wood. Wood. If I don't like somebody who doesn't think, I will say, are you a wood? But this wood is doing something incredible, miraculous. So we have to prostrate before God. Shall I give you a hint? No offense, all right? When you hear that somebody is wasting their life in Egypt, you get excited. But we don't get excited when we hear that the trees are growing. When we wake up in the morning, fresh air. Who prepared it for you? We don't get excited. We don't get excited. Yeah. Zillions of things you can say. You can say, you go to sleep, you get rest. How do you get rest? Well, how do they know that they should get rest? Who arranged it? Your body is sleeping. What do you mean by sleep? What is the sleep? Or waking up? What does it mean? Who wakes you up? These are all miracles. Just a very simple, apparent evidence. The whole creation is full of miraculous exhibition, if you like. Everything is there. Where are we? We are in the exhibition hall. Exhibition hall? But which artist? Artist of the universe. Artist of the universe is exhibiting his art here. That's what we have to prostrate before. Because they are miraculous, peerless. No one can do. Nothing can do. Whatever the simple the matter is. That's what we have to teach ourselves. We have to keep talking about these matters. Not the matters temporary today. Change. Starts from, I don't know, Tunis, and then Libya, and then Egypt, and then Syria. Walk behind the people who gossip about the events. Never talk about the reality of life. Reality of existence. Never. And we are Muslims, brother. We have to take care of our Muslim brothers' problems, of course. What is this? You don't take care of yourself. You are wasting your own life. You are wasting our own life and pretend to be very altruist and concerned with others. But we should stop falling into this trap. Main fundamentals must be established, and we have to get used to educating, by educating ourselves, how to live in this world while observing the miraculous demonstrations of the Creator's actions. Why do you think we are here? Why? To shed blood or to observe? No. I am trying to write للناظرين. The verse ends with للناظرين. وزينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين. Not this one. Another verse. Who remembers? للناظرين. Ends with للناظرين. We decorated the heavens beautifully for those who behold in admiration. That is iman. That is belief. The rest is following your pattern, cultural pattern. That's what we do. So we should never forget about Ahab. We should never forget that we are given free will. We are free to choose. Either we can choose remembrance or negligence. We are free. That's how I feel. That's why what I am. That's our reality. We should keep reminding each other about this point. That whatever, if someone tells me something that, excuse me, sir, or sheikh, or whatever, you say this. Where is belief, perspective in this matter? Ask this question with no hesitation. Qur'an teaches that. Here's one more. Yes, people. That's how human nature, the verses are really just teaching who we are. It's beautiful. Reading the Quran from this perspective is really amazing. Just pay attention, just pay attention. Stop, just don't read and pass. Deliberately reflect on them, ponder over it. Would you like to say something before we start? I think you want to. Go ahead.
About being grateful. I'm worried about the brother that is worried about how to be grateful and how we can remind ourselves. I remind myself when I'm coming out of a hardship, when Allah provides me what I ask, I am grateful. And I try to remind myself to be grateful when I'm at ease, when there are not problems. Like for instance, during Ramadan, I bought rabbit because I love to eat rabbit. And it was a beautiful black rabbit. It was alive, alhamdulillah. And when I was eating it for iftar, I cooked it and it was extremely delicious, subhanAllah. And so when I said, I stopped eating and I made a dua for the rabbit. So inshallah, this rabbit will be in Jannah because it's so delicious and it's feeding me. And Allah is feeding me with this.
Yeah.
So
Allah is
if-
feeding you with the rabbit.
Yes,
He created it for you, especially.
exactly. And
Yeah. Why didn't you
inshallah-
invite us? Why didn't you invite us? You relieved something. Okay? Okay. Yeah. So we have to really remember that everything is really provided for us. Just remind each other, inshallah. So which cases do we understand now in the previous verse? Maybe this one as well. Yeah, this one as well. When we are in trouble, we are with God. When we are not in trouble, usually speaking, generally speaking, when we are not in trouble, we forget God, which is better for us to be in trouble. So, but God doesn't want us to be in trouble. Because troublesome moments in our life is only a fraction. The most of the time, here you are, who is ill among us? Almost nobody. Yeah? Only a fraction of people are in hospital. Yes, that is the reality, but most of the time we are healthy. So most of the time we are inclined to forget God. We are inclined to be neglectful. So can we conclude that troubles, calamities, or hardships are created for our benefit because we are closer to God in those conditions? But it doesn't mean that we should ask for calamities. No. But when they are given, we should never say that it is bad for us. Look at your life. When you are weak, when you fall in bed for any reason, sickness or any ailment, what you do, you get closer to God. It doesn't mean that we should ask for it, but when they are given, that's how we are. We shouldn't rebel. Why did you give me this? Because it is close, it is making us get closer to God. But it means that we cannot say that, generally speaking or straight away speaking, the calamities are bad. No. Depends your attitude. Most of the time, they are helpful. So we don't want them, that is different. But when they are given, we cannot label them as bad events. We have to be careful. Because throughout our own experience, we realize, we understand that we get closer to God when we are in trouble. So we should label them as bad events. So what is bad? We can discuss, not today, of course. What is bad? My attitude towards God's treatment. If I don't really take lesson from it, then that is bad for me. The creation is good, but for me it is bad because I have made a bad choice. Okay, let's read this verse, inshallah. Anybody for Arabic, native Arabic readers? Okay. Bismillah.
لئن أذقنا الإنسان منا رحمة ثم نزعناها منه إنه ليئوس كفور ولئن أذقناه نعماء بعد ضراء مسته ليقولن ذهب السيئات عني إنه لفرح فخور.
It's reading me. So who would like to read the English, please? It's just reading us. You know, our heart, our mind, our reality is here. Yes? Somebody please. Loudly, as loud as possible.
And thus it is, if we let man taste some of our grace and then take it away from him, behold, he abandons all hope, forgetting all gratitude for our past favors. And thus it is, if we let him taste ease and plenty after hardship has visited him, he is sure to say, gone is all affliction from me. For, behold, he is given to vain exultation and glories only in himself.
So let's go a little bit faster, forgetting all gratitude for our past favors. Now, that is the problem. Why? Because when the affliction is removed away from us, after hardship visit us, we say, gone is all affliction from me. Those people who are familiar with Arabic language, here it is, you know, لَيَقُولُنَّ ذَهَبَ السَّيِّئَاتُ عَنِّي. It means hardship has left me alone by itself, not by the Creator. So that is how we see. My excuse me, typical languages and examples. I don't know much about. I haven't studied science at all. Excuse me. Then I'm fine. Thank you. I know what's going on. Thank you. So when the sun rises, when the weather is beautiful, when I am healthy, okay, everything is fine. Because I'm saying they are happening by themselves. So the Quran is reminding me, change your mind. Watch out. Think twice. Are they happening by themselves? If you have this habit of interpreting the events in this world, when the things are taken away from you, you think in the same way. Hardship has left me. Because there is no deliberate will behind it. Why? Because there was no deliberate behind the normal events. Normal, which means the event, the creation, which doesn't bother me. So when they are normal, of course we are inclined, the illness has left me. The problems are left me. The problems left me. It means they have just gone by themselves. We don't notice that they are given, they are taken. They are given, they are removed by a conscious will. How do I know that? We have to experience, we have to educate ourselves. Now, who gave you whatever you have? Whatever you are aware of it right now, who gave it to you? We have to think about it. How come it comes into existence? Anything. We have to admire this word in Arabic, hayra. What is hayra to those in native? admiration, or the better word, hayra?
Perplexity?
Sorry?
Perplexity?
No, no. Not in this negative. You know, this amusement, excitement, hayra. So there's a word for it in English.
Reverence?
Sorry?
Reverence?
Reverence?
Amusement?
Amusement, or becoming exuberantly excited. So the famous hadith, sorry, joy. Being joyful by exuberantly, really. So with see everything awesome. One of the sayings that the Muslim scholars narrate, those people who are aware, who spend time on really the reality of existence, they say, please God, increase my amusement at seeing what you have created, what you are creating. Increase my amusement, because we don't. Even the rabbit. So the rabbit is that you think that the rabbit walks itself, rabbit grows, you fed and grows. How you fed rabbit with what? Lettuce or what? Whatever. And it turned into meat, skin, the hair, eyes, blood system, circulation system, nervous system, and it has some sort of awareness of its own existence, for example, escaping from the harmful things, trying to protect themselves. Where are they coming from? Where are they coming from? It's breathing air and drinking water and eating, let's say, generally speaking, rabbits, I think like lettuce. Where are they coming from? All the senses, emotional attachment. They know you, they expect you to give some food when it is time. Where are they coming from? This awareness. So we have to have this being bewildered, amazed. So if we always pay attention to normal things, that they are not normal, they are miraculous events, then when the affliction is taken away from us, we don't say affliction left me alone or deserted me or gone. How is it translated here? Affliction, gone is all affliction from me. You say, no, it is taken away from me, deliberate. Is there any action in the universe that we experience, we observe, which happens haphazardly? Order. Everything is under control. And we have to search for the source of this control, for the source of this order, this balance. Think about it and find out the source. And then when calamity comes to us, we say that is a deliberate action. When it is taken away from us, that's a deliberate action. There is an all-powerful will behind all these actions. So it becomes possible for us to live in the presence of God. So we remember. Otherwise, when, for example, ask yourself, as a person who asks the question, ask yourself, these are my test words actually. This question, what comes to your mind when you are suddenly asked this question, what is religion? What comes to your mind? Religion.
Way of life.
Sorry?
Way of life.
Yeah, but, practically, yeah, but what is religion for me? Religion. What do we mean by way of life? Mostly, we remember when you suddenly thought, what is religion? Worshipping God. Yeah, but there is no religion. Religion means when you see something, for example, the moves. A leaf moves, all right? A branch of the tree moves. To watch that and get excited is religion. That's religion. We have to change the terminology in order to attract our attention. Change our way of life or world view, especially how do we interpret or explain existence. How we explain existence. My existence, existence of my beard, and existence of, I don't know, my ability to speak, to listen, to understand, and existence of my eyelids moving up and down. And all these reflections, what are they? What are they? My own nerve system, what are they? Thinking about them is the crux of religion. Otherwise, the others may fall into habitual life. It doesn't mean that they are worthless. No. But habitually, it's time for Salat Isha now. We will pray in 10 minutes. No, 20 minutes. 10 to 9, we will stop. So in 20 minutes, we will pray Salat Isha. That's our habit. Not bad habit, of course, but at the same time, we should not reduce religion to our habits. Consciousness is necessary, is a must. Consciousness, awareness. What are we doing here on earth? What am I supposed to do in this world? Whoever created me or made me or sent me here to this world, what is expected from me? Ask your existence. The meaning of your existence, that's religion. That's the core of your religion. We have to keep saying this because this is the neglected side of religion. So, we understand that all these verses are telling us how do you say, shaky we are. Not really, we don't have a stable worldview. So how selfish we are. Yeah, when something happens to us, we scream, and the bad things leave us alone. We say, okay, I took some tablets and it was very useful, very effective. It's gone. I'm feeling well now. That's how we think. Although we claim to be very religious and concerned religious as well. So let's go have a journey through the verses, inshallah. Okay, somebody, please, somebody, okay.
فأما الإنسان إذا ما ابتلاه ربه فأكرمه ونعمه فيقول ربي أكرمن وأما إذا ما ابتلاه فقدر عليه رزقه فيقول ربي أهانن.
English.
Everyone that speaks Arabic, subhanallah, should praise Allah every time they say a word from the Quran.
Inshallah.
I wish I could, and I
Inshallah.
can't.
No, you
Inshallah, I will, but
You
it's
can.
such a blessing.
You can.
Subhanallah.
Believe me, you can. Just come here to IC and ask brothers, sisters to teach me. Yeah, it's the place. It's blessing. Yeah, beautiful, mashallah. Somebody, English? Okay?
And as for man, when his Lord tries him and thus is generous to him and favors him, he says, my Lord has honored me. Whereas whenever he tries him by straightening his means of livelihood, he says, my Lord has humiliated me.
Hanan is even the stronger word. Those who are familiar with the language, not only humiliated me, it's much, much stronger than this, isn't it? You know, Hanan. My Lord has, yeah. So that more than that, very stronger word. But, so, do we find ourselves in this verse? Here, ourselves, our reality. So God says, don't do that. Change your attitude. Be conscious of it. He is just telling me who I am, and he's just pointing out my weak points and drawing my attention and teaching me, don't do that, don't be like this. So I'm happy with God when he gives me everything, and when he doesn't give me what I expect him to give, I say, no, it's not a good God. Yeah, what's wrong with him? Why he's getting angry? So we start saying that, oh, God is not really, which kind of God he is? He is really torturing his creatures. All the complaints are with us.
But the reaction is different from the previous verse.
Yes,
right?
yes. But it means we may have two sides. Yeah, you are right. You are right. Thank you for really paying attention to that. So we may have this way when it is removed from us, when we are giving some troubles, so we may get closer to God. Please, God, remove it from me. And sometimes, on some occasions, we may really blame God doing something wrong to us. So being ungrateful, that's we are. So we have to be very careful and watch out for our weak points. Okay. Okay, somebody, please. Somebody? No one? No one reads Arabic here? I think you do, but people are shy. Modest? Somebody who can read? No? Okay.
ثم إذا كشف الضر عنكم إذا فريق منكم بربهم يشركون.
Oh, no, that is another attitude. So you see that, okay, let's read that. Somebody from, English.
Yet as soon as he has removed the harm from you, some of you begin to ascribe to others a share in their Lord's divinity.
Oh, what is he talking about here? What is he talking about here? Yeah? So when he has removed the harm from you, so he says, we are inclined to ascribe, it's shirk, common shirk. It's a very well-known word. It means, giving divine power, attributing divine power to anything other than God. Why? What does it mean? But we thought that shirk was, for example, what is shirk? Worshipping some idols. But this verse says, no, nothing, it's with you. Although, it is not only for non-believers, all the verses we are studying are everything to do with everybody. Whether you are a believer, you are not a believer, it is human conditions. That's what we understand, that the Qur'an is really dealing with human conditions. So we have to, when we learn, when we really pay attention to the Qur'an and try to understand how to read the Qur'an, we find ourselves that, God is educating us, teaching us where our weak points are. God is with us. Just like my teacher, like my mother, like my father. You just said, don't do this, be careful here, don't neglect this point. You have a weak point there. I think you wanted to say something? So, have we ever thought of shirk in these terms? You remember now?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, going back to your point where you mentioned being sick and then you take medicine and then you say, oh, the medicine cured me, right? So this is what I'm thinking. So you're saying the medicine cured you, which it took the hardship away. You're ascribing divinity to the medicine.
So that's a typical example.
Yeah.
So it means attaching the power, the effect to the means that we are using, we are given is the source of polytheism, if you like. It means if we attach the power to effect to the immediate cause, that is shirk. So forget about this idol worshipping anything. This is what idol. The idol means not the statue, something. No one says that this created me. But we say the food is operating in me. That's a very common language. The air is affecting me. Sunlight is the source of life. Don't you hear that? Yeah? They say if there was no sun or sunlight, there would be no life. So, sun is the source of life. And we may still pray Salat Isha. Yeah? That's how we are. So, my Creator is teaching me through this kind of verses that when something is taken away, removed away from you, it is possible and very possible that you may commit shirk. So think about the conditions that God is drawing our attention to. Stop these stories that the Kaaba was full of idols and idols are now cleaned. There is no way to commit shirk. There is no idol to worship. So are you worshiping idols? No. Wallahi, no. By God, no. But the Quran says something else. Though he is really, if you like, deciphering my reality, drawing my attention. You know, never, it's an example. The brother gave us the example. Never attribute the power to causes. Yeah? Because it is winter, that's why it is cold. Winter is created, weather is created, the phenomenon of coldness is created, and your ability to feel the cold is created. Everything is created. Never established any horizontal relationship. You know, one thing is the cause of another thing. That is shirk.
That's sort of broad. It's a very broad statement.
Yeah, and that's very commonly committed crime.
But I mean, no, but I mean, like, scientifically speaking, the sun has to exist for there to be life on Earth.
Thank you.
Scientifically speaking.
Now, what do you mean by scientifically speaking? Aren't we speaking here scientifically? What do you mean by scientifically speaking?
I mean, I don't see that as shirk if you say something like that.
Or that's the problem.
If I say
brother.
that I wouldn't exist if the sun didn't exist, that may be shirk. But saying that the way that were created means that we need sunlight to be able to sustain life.
You are created. How about the sun?
Sorry?
You are created. You said you are created. Good. And carry on. Yeah. You said you are created. Yeah? How about the sun? Isn't it created?
Yeah.
It is created. How about the sunlight? Is it created as well?
Yes.
Yeah, it is created. How about the sunlight beam speed?
No,
That's why.
it's
What is
created-
scientifically?
It's created, but there are laws in the world that we're living in.
So
God created
allows,
those laws.
who's allowing?
Sorry?
Who is allowing? You said allow?
No, there are laws in the world.
I
that
see
we're
laws.
living in.
Who are
There's
they?
some order, and God
Who are?
created them.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah,
that
come.
doesn't mean I can't say that there's a cause and effect according to
No.
those laws.
That's an order.
Yeah.
Under the control of the one who takes care of every minute things coming from his will. So what we call or they call laws don't have an independent existence. They don't exist. That's the order which comes from the will of the Creator. You can say, instead of laws, you can say will of God. The Quran teaches us, excuse me, Quran teaches us whenever, but we are not going to take it for granted, we will listen and make sense of it. Whenever God wills, He creates the order, means kun fayakun means this, be and it is. So is there anything which is happening in the world which can be explainable without attributing its existence to anything else than the creator of the universe? That means la ilaha illallah. That's the teaching of the Quran. Makes sense. But we shouldn't really swallow the vocabulary we hear that scientific. We are trying this today. We have been trying, really exhausting ourselves to say that don't take anything for granted. Isn't that scientific?
Yeah, but scientific is a word used to keep from saying God did it.
But why? It is a replacement.
Just you made a statement that was very general, is that we cannot attribute anything to causes.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I did that, and I'm proud of it. Yeah, I stand behind it.
But you can't say that something created caused some reaction and something else that's been created.
Sorry?
It's a strong correlation. Like
Yeah.
gravity. Like you know through trial and error and empiricism that if you drop something, it'll fall, right? But that just because it's a law doesn't mean it's not created. It's sure there's a cause and you got the effect that you expected.
But that's our experience with the creation of God.
That's just having a really high expectation.
Yeah, that's what we have to renew our language. We have to check our language. We should never use any language, whether religious or secular, without thinking. What does it mean? I have to question. Human beings question. We have to say, if someone says, Allah created, I stop it. Don't I? Where did you get this notion? Use your own approach. How you concluded that the creator is God. Tell me how. So when we use a scientific explanation, and the same thing. Where did you get this idea? What do you mean by scientific explanation? Yeah, that is the concept injected into our minds in order to take it for granted, like bigoted people. Bigoted people in religion, bigoted people in secularism. We should be awake. We shouldn't be bigoted. Anybody? We have to pray. Any more? So, inshallah, it's time to stop. That's good. That's good that you bring up this kind of things, that it is in our minds anyway. So inshallah, next week we will start a new subject, although we haven't finished the verses, but that we got the line now, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة.